Entrepreneurship can be really hard, and when you're doing it by yourself, trying to navigate the terrain, it can almost be impossible. That's why we created the Entrepreneur Circle. Every episode, you're going to hear from incredible entrepreneurs who are in the same trenches that you are in. And we're going to talk through what's working, what's not working, whether it be in marketing, finance, or anything in between. We're here to talk business and figure out how each of us can rise together. So welcome to the circle. Let's dig in. The mic is hot. I am so excited for today's episode. Welcome to the Entrepreneur Circle. I am here with Bohne, who has launched her own organization firm. And she has been one of the most sought after organizers that I have met thus far. And I really feel like this industry, call me a rookie, but I feel like this industry is relatively fresh, relatively new.
It's pretty hot.
It's pretty hot. And I'm seeing it absolutely skyrocket on its own. But then I met you and I saw how sought after you truly have become as an organizer and as a professional. And I'm like, we got to get her on the show.
It's pretty wild out here.
Yes, girl. It's awesome. So I guess best place to start is I would love our audience to hear more about you and what your journey has been like. So let's start at 50,000 foot view.
I got to Denver, and that's a whole story in and of itself. We're not going to go there. But
oh, now I'm curious. How'd you get to Denver?
Because of a gentleman.
Oh, those gentlemen.
I know. And long story short, came for the man, stayed for the mountains. And I was like, I love it. I'm not leaving. I have to do something to stay. So I started working, but I needed a side job. And I had always done this. Not always, but I had done this for several years just because. Mm-hmm. I did it for myself. I did it for people around me. And I just did it. It was a stress reliever. I would always consider myself my own first client. And I tell my clients that too because they want to know where and how and all that. But I did it for myself. It was like pre-pandemic now. But I started organizing to give my own self a sense of balance, mental clarity, all the good things. And it really worked. And it wasn't just a standalone, like I fixed this and my life is perfect, but it was a really good formula that helped me gain control over my life, which I'm not kidding, 95% of the people that call me, they want to get control over their own life. So I get to Denver, I need something on the side. I start to do this and it's really checking off a lot of those personal boxes. I'm really liking it. But there were a lot of questions before I just took that leap and said, this is my business. So I did keep a full-time job while I built it, which was insane and difficult. And then I took the leap and jumped in and I did it. I was very conservative about that choice. Took a while. And then when I did it, I knew it was time, and I started, and it took off. And we're in, I think, year 3, and I was just awarded the best organizer in Denver.
Wow.
By the Best of Mile High Awards for the second year in a row.
Wow.
So, and that's crazy. I mean, that speaks to the community that builds so quickly when you just keep your head down and you want to work hard and well for people around you and develop the relationships just like you do. So it's not a me thing at all. It's a how are we doing in the community thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I think there's so much to be said about when you first started doing it for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason behind it of, one, you just enjoy it, right? But that mental clarity piece that comes with having an organized environment around you, a clean environment around you, you found the why in that, and then you went to market with it. Yeah. There's so many businesses and just people who are like, oh, I'm just going to go straight to the market. We're going to just see what happens, which is cool. Like, that works too. There's a lot of successful businesses that have gone that route. Mm-hmm. But when you start talking about the oil and water separating, right? The best of the best, it rises up to the top. And I think that's exactly what happened with this Best of Mile High Awards. Yeah. 2 years in a row. Congrats.
That's huge, it's pretty amazing. It was great. It's like one of the few times a year I dress up. But yeah, I mean, it was, especially at the beginning, because I really didn't want to be a solo or entrepreneur. But when I did this, and that's why I was so careful about going full time with it, but I had to identify the why. And you talked about when it comes to scaling or why we're doing this, just the thoughts around it. Before I left that full-time job, I was so scared. And then I left, when I finally took the leap, it was literally for the biggest job I had to date. And it was either take the job that was being handed to me, which was running a whole move in Miami, or stay in this job that is hourly and stocking shelves. And I was on the brink. It was so scary. But what I did was, I'm a checklist person. I'm a pros and cons person. What are the things I need as an individual when it's time to shut off the business at night and go to bed or have my personal life? Does this business fulfill enough of those personal boxes that I'm willing to go through whatever it takes to make it survive? Well, first of all, build it, grow it, and then help it survive. Mm-hmm. So there's stages.
There's stages. And then thrive.
Yep. And keep going. And then rolling with it, because if you're growing at all, the business doesn't look the same even week to week. So having that flexibility to kind of control the thing at the same time noticing, this needs to be adjusted.
Yeah.
It's an animal.
It's an animal.
Yeah.
You gotta work it and figure out the ways. So is it just you right now that is doing the organizing? Okay, cool. I want to dig into this because there's so many businesses that are built off of the founder. So service-based often is what I'm saying. That's where it lies, because that's what mine was, or mine is. And it's essentially, you are the one with the skill set. You are the one performing the service for the clients. And when you are in that scenario, so much of it dials into your ability to work and the hours that you have available in the day. Let's talk about how you're managing that right now as kind of a solopreneur in a sense, when it's all you doing it. How are you managing your calendar?
Somewhat well.
Yeah.
So to me, managing, one of the finite things we have is time. And I was just coaching somebody on this because I actually consult other organizers around the country now, which is the absolute coolest thing. I might shift. I love doing it. But some people really struggle, and I struggle big time with wanting to do everything. That's so classic for a solopreneur. It's a good thing and a bad thing, because it's almost that drive to get you building the business or starting the business, but it becomes that drawback when it is like on the brink of scalable, but you're like, but I want to hold on to every last thing. But when it comes to balancing, it's really difficult. One thing that I have become really skilled at is we have different types of energy. And for me, my energy varies throughout the month. So I could be midway through a month and be very social. I want to hang out with 10 different people. I want to make a brunch for the girls. I want to go to a party and meet new people, have meetings. I have such high level ideas coming out of me. 2 weeks later, not so social, but very in the zone, getting data done, very detail oriented. And so for me and for anyone, learning your own types of energy, what you can provide, thinking of your energy as what it can provide to the business. So is it good for my business this week to go out and make contacts, or is it better for my business to close off the world for 3 days and get a lot of metrics, data, back-to-back stuff done? I've kind of honed in on that and how to optimize where I'm at with my own self to almost serve the business in the best way. And it conserves a lot. So if I'm planning this podcast, and I probably did it with you, where I'm okay, where am I in my month? Am I in those days where I just want to be curled up with a blanket and do quiet work? Or am I in the mood to meet someone? Because let's face it, sometimes we're not. So for me, like, it saves and it extends that bandwidth of energy to put to the business.
I love that you bring this up because there's so much to be said about how the society has been built on the hormonal cycles of men and women.
Yeah.
And I would love to dig into this because I wonder if you're reading the same book I'm reading.
I might have. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's called like My Flow or something. Where
Wait,
maybe
in the
that's
flow?
In the flow, not My Flow, in the flow.
Yeah.
So it's essentially talking through, and this applies to both men and women, right?
Yeah.
Because for men, you get a spike in your testosterone
in the morning.
That's why you wake up happy sometimes, right? So I think there's, you wake up in the morning, you get ready, you go to work, you crush the day. Mm-hmm. In the afternoon, testosterone goes down. That's when you get tired and you want to chill. You come home from work, you chill.
It is not the same.
It is not the same for
Sorry.
women. Women, however, have been in that same template of their workday with a completely different hormonal cycle. Our hormonal cycle is not a 24-hour cycle. It is a month-long cycle.
Yeah, and this is huge. And this is, in terms of professional organization, talking about time management, energy management. Let's manage energy. And it's I woke up this morning, it takes me 2 hours to get online. Like my eyes are open. The hamster's still the hamster is not on the wheel. The hamster is over here like slowly picking out coffee beans and maybe grinding them and then maybe finding like something to brew coffee. Like, it's very slow. I am not. And then my boyfriend, he's like up and he's on the computer working like within 15 minutes. I do not understand that at all.
I love this concept because I think when it comes to time management for a solopreneur, it's just a matter of being aware and in tune with yourself and knowing when you have the energy to give and when you need the time to fill your cup back up so that you can show up at 100%. Because if we're just going all the time, we're going to show up with just exhaustion. And that's how you get to burnout. That's how things start that's how the cracks start to form, is when you're not showing up full, right? So I love that concept. We started talking about scaling before we began recording, and I'd love to dig into that because in an entrepreneur's eyes, we get into business because we see that the potential is limitless. It's whatever we turn it into. So the concept of scaling is something that really this show is about, is like, how do we scale your business? But there's also something beautiful about knowing whether or not you should scale your business. Yeah. And this is something that I personally have learned in the past year or so. When I came into this game in authority marketing, it was all myself. I was the one that was serving the clients, writing the blogs, doing the social, writing the books, helping people produce things and content that shines a light on who they are and their expertise. Mm-hmm. And then I'm like, okay, I could bring in some incredible people, train them on what I'm doing, and then I just go out there and I'm essentially the strategic visionary who's bringing in new clients, networking, etc. And I'm so grateful to say that's where I am now. And now that I'm here, this is big. Now that I'm here, I'm wondering if this is what I truly love to do, or if I am genuinely just the creative who wants to create for others and for myself. I think this is such a big realization that if you can have the foresight in understanding how you want to get to your ideal day, that is what essentially will help you grow. But do we get there before we actually experience it? I don't know. Yeah. So it's essentially, you're in a position right now where you are the solopreneur, you are the one performing the work. I think when it comes down to it, it's dialing in on how much do you love the actual action of organizing? Like, is that where you want to sit and thrive? Because then you become the like pinnacle. Right. You're the one that the whales come after to help you organize their mansions, right? Like, that's essentially what it would look like if you continue to do it yourself. Or the other side of the coin, do you bring people in, train them on your process, and bring in 10 more of you who can 10x what you're doing, and try to grow this, right?
And I think you realizing that is huge and special, because I started a little different. Like I said, I was really slow. I didn't even want to go out into business on my own until I was sure that I had enough why in me to really deal with whatever may come. And if I had known how hard it would be, I would have probably not tried. But now each time it gets hard, I like it. So where you're at with your business, what kind of questions are you asking yourself to kind of come to your next move?
Mm-hmm. I think there's so much to be said about what we want our day to look like, rather than what is the material thing we're chasing.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think what I came into this with is a mindset of, I'm going to start a business, I'm going to scale it, I'm going to grow it, and I'm going to sell it one day.
Yeah.
And that's been the mindset that I've built it in over the past 6 years, and I think that's fantastic. I think a lot of people run into that, motivation, right?
Yeah.
But I think it's a very fine line between doing what you think you're supposed to do
Mm-hmm.
as an entrepreneur, and then really tuning into yourself and then doing what you want to do as a human.
Time. Yes. And that's why I think we were saying earlier, when I was slowly coming to the decision just to do this as a business in and of itself, there were a lot of boxes, check boxes, and some were about the business and then some were about me. You know, why am I here in Colorado? I came here, or I decided to stay here because I love the mountains. I want to be out there. I want the freedom in my day. That's a huge one for solopreneurs, is we want, or entrepreneurs too, we want that freedom. The grass is always greener, so there is freedom, but at the same time, I've literally spoken to clients from the summit of mountains out here because they need me. Or I've booked a client while I was trying to sleep at a trailhead, and I met one of my best clients that way. She's like, I need to talk to you. I'm losing it. And I'm like, I am on the side of a mountain right now, but what can I help you with? So, it's like having the awareness, like you said, maybe we learn it 5 years, 6 years in, maybe we come into the business with it, but at some point or another we're faced with, is this working for me? Why am I doing this? Why am I working so hard when I really could? And I've definitely had this pause where I'm like, LinkedIn pops up with a new job opportunity, project manager of a sort. I'm like, I project manage like crazy. That is what my job is. I could go and clock in and make this and make a company some really good money at this point with the skill set I've developed, and with my grit and with what I've got, I could go and not be my own boss. Mm-hmm. And at the end of the day, I have to sit and think, okay, but I can also maintain boundaries that I might not be able to maintain if I was not my own boss. I have this thing that I built that has grown my own self-esteem in a way that I don't think anything else has ever. It's my baby right now. Mm-hmm. And I'm so proud of it. So the cool thing about having this thing that we built is that it's always open for interpretation, and we have that proof to ourselves as owners, as people that have grown this thing, that we can shift and grow it in a different direction. So I think it's really exciting that you're allowed to question this. I tell clients this all the time. If we're organizing a kitchen, I've got kitchen on the mind, say, hey, may I try this over here? Let's try it on. Let's try it on. Just like you, try it on. Go a little smaller. Get some of your time back, the creative back. You can always go back to scale. So some of these questions, it's just seeing it as putty, and how are we going to move the putty? Because at the end of the day, we did these businesses for peace of mind, for that freedom, to be better for ourselves so we can be better for the people around us. That's why I did it, one of the reasons. And it's made me better. But if it's turning and it's starting to make me worse, then it's time to take a look. And even keeping a list of those boxes that were things I never thought a business could fulfill, like things that surprise me even. Go back and say, okay, are these boxes still being checked under the new situation we have, under the new dynamic I have? Is this particular person that I work with so draining that I don't want to come to work today? Or is this particular person a delight? I'm like, I want to work harder because of you. So it is always about like the gut check.
Mm-hmm. The gut check.
The gut check.
The gut check. And
yeah.
it's, you know, sometimes the only way to dial it in and understand it is to go through it.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that will keep people from wanting to even move forward, is the fear of, you know, what if I do it and I don't like it, or what if I do it and it doesn't work? I think the only way to arrive at the point of knowing what you're supposed to do with yourself and your time and your business is to take the next step forward and then reassess, and take the next step and reassess. And as you hit these milestones and achieve these goals, you're going to find some fulfillment in that, and then you're going to raise the bar on yourself, because that's just what we do as humans. We achieve something, and then we're like, okay, what's next?
And learning to love that edge where the challenge is. So I consult one organizer who's brand new, she's growing, she's really struggling with that, and I'm like, listen, go out there, don't just go out there unprepared. Like if she has a new job coming up, we take the job, we get her as prepared as she can be, but at a certain point you go in, you have the problem-solving mindset, it's a teamwork thing. If you're face-to-face with the client, you learn the client very quickly, what are their biggest pain points, and how are you going to solve the biggest ones today, so when you leave, their place and their mind and their peace and their stress is all better because they met you. Mm-hmm. And it's the same with ourselves. So if we look at ourselves as a client, am I coming into my day, and when I leave my own day, am I making my life less stressful, more exciting? What am I giving to myself? Mm-hmm. And then we could talk about boundaries, learning to support that core list of needs as a person and then as an owner, and the needs of the business, all like a spine through them, supporting them, protecting them with those boundaries. Because that's a really big one too.
Oh yeah.
That is so hard, because people will challenge that before I've even woken up.
So tell me, what is next for you? Are you thinking about continuing to grow as you have been? Are you looking at new avenues? What's next?
So the next 2 months, summer gets crazy busy. I have a few jobs lined up. I'm booked out about 2 months right now, and people are moving. I facilitate huge moves, which is crazy. But the thing that I am just loving is I've started consulting solopreneurs and organizers around the country. I mean, it could be anywhere, but I have one in Washington, one in Nevada, one in Pennsylvania, and it's just people that I like. We are the same energy, they're hungry, they're getting after it, and I love like hopping on the phone and they're like, okay, this is what happened this week, let's dig in, problem solving and helping their business, and then the next week they're like, I landed my biggest person yet, or I solved this problem within my team. So I would say, just like I say to every client, I was my first client, I do this because it helped me. Like have you ever seen The Outbreak? Like I was the first monkey. Like I was the one, I was like, I saw this help my own life. And so I believe in what it can do. And then at the same time, I'm driven not just by helping people. I mean, I think a lot of people want to help people, but I really love solving that problem when I come into your house and you're like, I cannot get this. And I'm like, we're going to do it together. Mm-hmm. And now when I get to do with other business owners and knowing like, one mom, like she was texting me with her kids from Hawaii, and I'm like, we just made her a really good amount of money by solving problems in her business to make it even better for her so she can support her kids on this trip. Like contributing to not only other humans, but their families and their lives has been really, really cool to be part of. So I hope to keep doing that.
And that exactly the definition of an overflowing cup. Like your cup is full, my friend. It's full. It's overflowing to other people, teaching other people what you do, serving your clients, and I think it's just so commendable. I admire all that you've built, and I'm excited to watch your journey as you go. So where can people find you? How can they plug into your work?
So my business name is BE Organized Method. So www.beorganizedmethod.com. Be Organized Method on Instagram, and then I'm personal on Facebook. So people just follow me, BOHNE Leah, weird name, pronounced Bonnie.
I love it.
Yeah, people, I don't even know if you knew it, like people don't even know it. So I'm Bohne Leah on Facebook, and then where else? That's about it. That's about as much as I can handle.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
Make sure to follow her. She's always sharing some amazing tips and tricks on how you can organize your own life.
My reels are fun.
Yeah, I love it, girl. Well, thank you so much for joining us on the show, and we'll catch you next time.
Thank you so much.
Remember this as you go about your day today. The ideas that are on your heart for a reason. Do not ignore them. Tune into them. Tap in, lean in, understand them, and pursue them. If not you, then who? If this episode was helpful to you in any way, please like, share, comment, subscribe. It does wonders for our efforts, and it helps us to continue our mission of inspiring entrepreneurs and giving them the resources and the perspective we all need to take it to the next level. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Parisa Noble, and we'll catch you next time.